Alrighty. There's a few other people online at the time I'm doing this, so lucky to draw. Those who will be here will be here. And as usual, I don't really announce when I come on. Just getting my tablet set up. And I forgot, I got the sound on. Let's do something about that real quick. All right. So that little wisp of air that you're listening to is my fan going on. It's pretty warm in here. Okay. I kind of started this off. Off camera. It's all dry. Everything's dry. Okay. And I think I'm going to talk about mountains. I had a buddy of mine. He did them, and he just kind of stuck with me. So I'll do a mountain. So. But we'll get right on to it. We won't do much dilly-dallying around. 11 by 15 inch watercolor paper. This time it's on a cardboard backing. All right, so hey, Keely, how are you? All right, Keely, don't beat the neighbor down. Just poison them. I'm just kidding, don't do that. All right. So we're gonna get right on to it. I'll take a thin brush, a little small fella. Maybe you can see it here. It depends if you're looking at it on the phone or on the computer. Here it is right here. All right. Okay. This is more for the beginner people. I won't mix a so-called mountain color. I'll just use basic black. I don't know if I'll water this stuff down or not. We'll see. But I guess for this batch of mountains, what I'll do is I'll just cover it all in black, and we'll build a 3D image out of a flat mountain surface. I kind of want them craggy-ish, like that. This type of black paint is really thick. I'll kind of get a little dip and valley right there going on. This is really thick, as you can see down below. It is very thick paint. I'll just do some odd shapes here. Freaky little things going on. I want to kind of fill this one out a little bit more. Something like that. Something like that. All right. Kind of jagged looking, kind of crazy. That's about all for this little brush for right now. I'm gonna take a larger brush and just block all of this in. Doesn't particularly matter what type of brush. It's just a thicker, bright brush. It's called a bright brush because it's rounded at the corners, but it's flat everywhere else. All right. Get a little bit of water on the brush just to loosen up the bristles. Go back into the black. I'll spread it out a little bit. Basically, we just block all this in. Just a flat black. Like I said, this is really thick paint. I won't put any water in it. I won't thin it out or anything. I prefer really the solid paint if I can get away with it, because in essence it dries faster and it's thick. So with the air hitting on it, i.e. the fan, it's just gonna thicken up and dry almost immediately. Acrylic paint dries through evaporation. No special way to block it in, you're just blocking in solid color. If you want to reshape your mountain, if you don't like the way it looks, you can reshape it right now. But be careful, you can always get the mountain larger, you can't get it smaller. So once you establish the height, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'll just get a nice solid color. The clouds, once again, I'll say for people who look at this a little bit later, the clouds were done before the filming. I was actually watching another YouTuber. It's not an art related channel. And as I was doing the clouds, so. The clouds wasn't really the focal point. The mountain is. I'll just kind of flatten it all out a little bit. As I thin the paint out, it dries that much faster. Then again, I do have a little bit of direct air hitting it. I have the fan tilted towards me, so. All right, and it's about that, end of that. And just let it tack up, let it dry a little bit. If you see a couple of little white patches, it's still pretty, the paint's still pretty wet. You can just take your very loosely, your damp brush and just brush over it just to fill it all in. As you can see by the reflections all around in here, a little bit in here, that's not white, that's just a reflection of the wet paint, and it will dry and all that. All right. There's many ways you can approach doing mountains. You can break this all up. I can't really show you because it's still pretty wet, so I'll just run my mouth. And this is something you can probably fast forward. There's many ways you can do mountains. Obviously, you can do it with a palette knife, and you can do them with a brush or a mixture of both. Really, your discretion. Okay. The clouds I've pretty much done while the glycerin was wet, and as it dried, I just dry brushed the clouds. There's a couple of layers actually on each one of these little puff balls here. Okay, they take the color of the background, since the background was pretty wet, so it's a little bit of maroon reddish in them, little bit of blue, whatever. And this sky blue cloud stuff I added a little bit later because it still looked a little empty because most of this was this color blue. Okay, it's ultramarine blue. So I just used a little ultramarine green and just put that in there just for a little bit of variance. That's about it. All right. All right, I guess I don't really have to add any more to that outside shape of the clouds. That's the most important part anyway. Really doing your mountains is really your outside shapes. They don't have to be this craggy. It can be a little smoother if you would like it to be. All up to you. Okay, but this is just a basic flat framework of the mountains. You can take this and break it up if you want. You can make just one giant mountain and everything in the back, or it's really whatever you're looking for. There's many possibilities for this mountain. All right. Okay. Let's take I'll probably end up with a long flat brush or a flat 3/4 inch brush. I'm thinking right now of this guy. So I'll use this for the majority of the color and everything. Then we'll move on to a smaller brush with smaller details. I'm not really thinking of a bright or dark side of the mountain right now. All right, but I am just going to really flesh out some the true color of the mountain and just get some planes going, and then we'll build up off of that. Okay, so I'll use the broader brush and we'll start doing some patterns. All right. I was going to say something else. I was going to mention something else about this. I guess I can discuss it while I'm doing it. So let's just really work on patterns and planes and just kind of filling this stuff in. I'm going to try to make, even though we have got black in here, I want to try to make black the least color that you'll see. We'll do our own type of shading as far as the light and the shaded side. All right. Okie dokie. What color should I start out with? I guess I'll deal with a brown. We'll just put the brown right in here somewhere. I'll get a little bit of black and we'll put that black into the brown. This is actually sienna. I'll start off with this. So I'll probably be dipping into black and sienna quite often. All right. And we're going to once again start with the basic kind of path and color of the mountain itself. And I'll go right from this point right here. And I'll use the side of the brush. And I'll start to kind of get a natural path and color of the mountain. I might add a little white in there to gray it up a little bit so you can see it. Just a little touch of black into the brown. I think I'm gonna use a little bit of white so you guys can see it, because you guys can't see that very good. You should be able to see this fairly well when I put it in there. Yeah, you guys can see that pretty well. So, all right, use a broader brush. And I'm just filling it in with this color here and there. And I'll be dipping into the brown, dipping into the white, dipping into the black often. Now, if it appears that it might be a little too light or too dark, it's all right. Like we're gonna get our own shade and shadow of the mountain, so I'm not too worried about that. Not even the direction. just gonna start building color of the mountain, and then we'll work on shades and tints later on. And this is a nice way for beginners to kind of learn to flesh out their mountain. So right now, the mountain does have a certain look because of the pattern and the way I'm shaping this guy. And that's cool, that's all right. The whole thing is going to change in a few minutes. Like I said, you'll barely see some of this black by the time it's done. You don't necessarily have to fill it all with black. You don't have to make all the black disappear, but the majority of it you will. Getting some more brown, getting a little bit more white, and a touch of black in it. Mix it up. I'm just mixing it with the brush. I'm using the side of the brush. The paper itself is textured. All right, so it kind of helps, aids along with it. There's no glycerin or anything to this. It's just the paint itself. You don't necessarily have to go straight down or sideways like I'm doing, at a slant like I'm doing it. You don't have to. I'm doing it because it's just what's working for me right now. You can go the other way if you would like. Okay, as you see, it's starting to take a mountain look already. Just by the angles that I'm doing it. Because I'm angling it a little more towards the lower right. Okay, so your eyes are following that pattern, that path. So that's what's giving it its kind of its look for right now. This whole thing will change, trust me. You bring it down as far as you feel. All right, as far as you would like. And I'm just using the side of the brush to do the angles. Brush some more love at the side here. A lot of this is gonna change. Because right now, once again, I'm not looking for a light side or a dark side as of right now. I want to do this in a way that any novice can do the same thing. Any beginning painter, any intermediate painter can approach this pretty much the same way. I have a large beach towel on my lap, in case you're wondering. Now this brush maintains a fairly sharp edge, so as you can see, I'll put up here clouds, very sharp edge. Look at that, see that? Very slender, so take care of brushes like that. Well, at least as much as you can, all right? We're gonna go to a slightly smaller brush, probably a slightly smaller flat brush. Give me a second, I'll find a somewhat decent fellow here. I guess I'll work with this one, it don't matter. I'll wet the bristles. This is a natural hair brush, it's a hog's hair brush. It's a little on the stiff side, but it's okay. Okay, let's start working on our shadows, okay? I kind of like the color of this guy. We'll use that same brown, but we'll put some blue in it. We'll work with the shadows on the shadow side. So this is ultramarine blue mixed in with, I'm gonna gather up a nice chunk of it. It's brown with blue, a slight hint of black. Now, if it's too dark, if it's too much on the black side, get more brown. Okay, there we go. We'll work on a few bits of shadow. I got quite a bit of paint loaded on the brush. It's okay. Now, if you look, if you look where the highlights of the clouds are, pretty much the light is coming from the left-hand side, so you'll shade the right. Let's start over here because I've already got kind of an idea of what I want to do. And what we're going to do basically is just go side of the brush. All right, I'm using the side of the brush, and we'll just kind of aim some of this lightly, aim it toward stroke it down toward the right. Okay, put some down here. You're not going to see it too well from your vantage point because of the glare of the light. We'll start working some shadows in there. But everything, try to aim it toward the right-hand side. Okay, as we come down, we go further down, we come more toward my direction, toward me. You'll start to see little shades and pockets. Put one right in here. All we do is just darking central spots here and there. Bring some of that down in here. Bring a little bit of that here. All right, you'll start to see it flesh out more and more. And because this is more of a dry brush fashion for rocks, you'll see some of the detail of what you previously put down. You can really have a lot of fun doing stuff like this. And like I said, I'm really working on the shadows. That's pretty much what I'm concentrating on. So I can make little cliff sides. Doing a couple of those right now. When you find yourself running out of paint, just get yourself a little more. This is, once again, I'm just using thick paint. And I kind of know where I want some of this stuff to kind of go. And you can re-emphasize this and bring it out more once you put the light side in. If you notice, this is not one of those snow-capped mountains. This is just all raw rock. Really brutal place to try to climb. But it depends on how you want your mountain to look. Do you want it to look menacing and threatening? Do you want it to look ominous? Up to you. Really up to you. Now, you might not see much of a difference yet until we put the highlight color on. And we will. We're going to build off of this too. But I'll show you as we're getting certain things done here. Okay, so I pretty much did with a half-inch here. Put in some of the shadow stuff. We're going to go with an even smaller brush. The reason being, quarter inch flat. The brighter the highlight, the lesser of it you really need. Okay, now if you look down below, we got this deep muddy color here. We're just going to add white to it. Just pick a spot somewhere, add white. Contaminate that white with this brown. All right. Like that. Once again, we'll use the side of the brush. We'll do a mountain with the brush. But we're going to layer on different techniques. All right, let's go to the the right side of the mountain. Okay, we're not going to go in the slant to the left. We're going to go slant. We're going to go to the right side of the mountain here. You see where the bright pockets are? Try to aim that toward that fashion. Very light. Just pop it in there. And I want to get a very nice kind of like you're making little miniature cliffs in there. But we're going to go toward the right side. Right toward the top and go toward the right with it. Aim it downward. You're going to get a couple of them coming here. So we're just using lighter values of the same color. Nice strong cliff face. Have some of it meet. We build some of that there. I'd say it's more of a dry brush than anything. We'll work some of that over here. And basically, you're really building up. All I'm doing is adding white to this dark mix. And you're just building up where you would represent the light part of the mountain. If you find yourself doing this and you almost appear a little bit lost, don't fret about it. Don't panic. Don't do that to yourself. It will all work out. It'll come together for you. Trust me, it will. I promise it will. You just need a very powerful light and a powerful dark side. All right. And it will happen for you. It will come together. I'm getting a little bit more white because I can feel my paint tack up, and that's fine. I'm just going further up to where the brown is. I'm just getting more of the same color. There's no way you can not mix and get a different color. Very simple color palette. Okay. Remember, we're gonna sway all of this color. Brush it up into the dark. Just make sure you get that light side really pronounced. which is what I'm doing. Establish a pretty strong kind of cliff face there. I'll bring it out here and still aim it downward. As you can see, you're getting somewhere toward, you got a really prominent light and pretty prominent dark half there. All right. Hey, Sonia, how you doing? So we're very easily just building and building the mountain. I don't know if my arms are long enough to reach. I don't think they are. Let me put the focus on. There we go. So we're just building and building up on these guys. But we're going to continue some of this, okay? We're going to keep building on that guy. We'll establish somewhat of a down here. I'm not really too concerned about the bottom. Okay. Now everything that you see me do, I did with a brush. All right. The texture of the paper also helps in doing this. Now, as you can see, there's a very distinct dark side. But if you look into the dark, you see different tones working its way in the darker side there. All right. Okay. Let's add some more to this. We'll take the, I would like a pretty sharp brush for the other next spot here. I must have gotten rid of all of my short 1/2-inch brushes, or I think I got them in the bag and I didn't take them out. I don't want to use this one. This is too wide. I don't want to use a filbert. I guess I'll have to deal with one of these guys. I don't really want to use him. I guess I'll deal with this. It's okay. Doesn't really have the sharpest point to it, but that's all right. This is the one I've used earlier. It's no big deal. Okay, let's build some more on top of this. So if you figure you can't add no more to it, it looks mountainy enough or whatnot. Hey, Back Roads, how you doing? Back Roads, yes, I did say Back Roads. Okay, so we'll add more to this. Okay, all right. We're not really done with the back part of this, but I'm gonna show you how to just add more to this. We'll add another plane going. Yeah, I'll show you. Once again, we'll use black. Black kind of blocks things off here. Okay, so we'll do another mountain coming out of another mountain. Okay, I guess I'll start it here, just like this. And I'll just have it jut out from here. All right. This is very thick black paint. I could add a touch of water to smooth it out, but it's called laziness. So we'll continue another mountain right out of this one. And we'll put a peak right here. We'll put a peak right here. I'll dip into some water. It's a little thick. I'll just thin it out a little bit. Basically, I just want a nice chiseled edge, really. There we go. That gets filled in. And we're gonna kind of kind of have it come up here like that. No big deal. And this fella here, we'll just kind of, maybe we'll just kind of have it. Have it go straight down, it's all right. Get the rest of the black, scrape it up, and block all this in. Doesn't matter. So we're gonna get another plane of mountains within that. And as you can see with me darkening all of this, if you notice, we just established a sense of depth already. And all I did was just block in another mountain with straight black. Okay, now this mountain obviously looks way in front of this guy. Okay. Already. Okay, let's have a little fun. Let's add some more depth to these fellas. And what I'm going to do is take I can take a very soft brush for this, I guess. This is actually a watercolor brush, very short, but this would be perfect for glazing and stuff. I'm debating whether I should just use water or I should just use a little glycerin. I'll probably just use the glycerin for it. I'm gonna dip my brush into some glycerin. It's very reflective. You should see it right. No, you're not gonna see it. I'm gonna use a little bit of blue. Put the blue in there like that. Now you see the glycerin. You see it streaky. All right, that's more glycerin than anything else. A little bit of red. We're gonna get that nice kind of maroon here. Keep stirring it in there. Go with a little bit of brown in that. Yeah, a little. I don't want to use black, so I'll just keep using blue. That looks good. Get some more glycerin. Put it right on there. Loosen it up. On this, you need more glycerin than anything else. Okay. All right. So that's just glycerin and a little bit of shadow color. And we can come into the dark area, and we can really pronounce that dark area a little bit. And all I'm doing is just adding some of this color in there. I can use my finger, kind of, wisp it in there a little bit. But we're just gonna kind of deepen some areas here. If it's too light, you can always darken it. But you can bring some of that shadow color up into the light area. Like so. Bring it right in. Okay. I can bring some of that in here. So you can deaden some of that bright area. You got a shadow of a mountain. So stuff like that. Get a little bit more. Put it right in there. Bring some of that up. It's just me really just glazing certain areas of it, of the mountain. Back here you can add a little fun. You can go darker, you can go lighter. You can glaze on top of glaze too to make it even deeper. But what this stuff does, it brings out what is in there already. Okay. Much like that. So I'm checking it out. I'm just make sure it's all good. Okay. Let's do something else with it. Let's clean this brush off real quick. It's a nice little glazed brush. It's just a soft watercolor brush. You just get a watercolor kit and whatever. It's very soft. It's perfect for glazing. They don't necessarily have to be flat. It can be round, wedged shape, any variety of shape. All right. As I'm still playing around here, I guess I suppose I'll use this guy. Let's look down here at the palette. This paint is probably all washed up. Yes, it's gone. So we're gonna get a little bit of white. We'll put it right here. Get a touch of brown. Put the brown right in there. Marble it. You don't need too much. Just marble the color. You marble it just like that. All right. It's got to be a little brighter than what you do have up there. Take a little swipe across. Get you a nice thin roll like that. Okay. If you don't see that, I'll show it to you here. Nice little thin roll of paint there. And basically, I just want to really show off and accentuate the edges of the mountain itself. Okay. All right. Be very light with it. Let the paint break and do its thing. Okay. So we're gonna go here from the top. Yeah, lightly touch and just kind of bring it down a little bit. Let it trail. And what it's gonna do as I'm doing this, I'm just gonna kind of let it trail, let it do its thing. Some come down a little further than others. I can bring some out into the dark a little bit and make it a little rougher. All right. Oh, I'll bring a peak right there and just have it come down. Do the same thing here, just have it come on down. It's like that. You can reshape the whole mountain doing this. Add another one in here like so. So I'm just adding little crispy little things going on in there on the right hand side. But I'm going down this way, going in that direction. Just wiggling it out that way, come out here, go straight downward. Like that, bring it down. Don't try to do every little inch of it. You add a little more to where you feel the direct sun is hitting. I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna just kind of wiggle, bring it kind of down that way like that. And I can just leave it alone, just like that. So it looks like little bits of direct sunlight touching it there. All right. Let's bring some here. Kind of come out here. And what it does also is it kind of tightens up some of those jagged, kind of softer areas. So I'm just going where where I perceive the sun is hitting, and I just work it that way. Right around in here like that. We'll add a little more flavor to, you can pick and choose. Right around here. So it looks like direct sunlight's hitting those spots there. Okay, so it really pops out at you. All right. Okay. Okay, let's work with this fella right here. I'll do it with a different palette knife. Now with this one, I'll work it with a different color palette. We'll add a little more blue to it, so it makes it look, it's closer and it's more in shadow, more or less. Okay, we're gonna still mess with gray. Let's take a little bit of brown, we'll put it right here in the same spot. Brown. Let's get a little white. This will kind of grade up a little bit. Lighten the color. It's really best to mix your colors with a palette knife actually than a brush. Because once you scrape it, get the color you want, you can just scrape it and you know, it's all right there. It's like that. Alright. Well, tease a little white in there. A little more white. Now this is the reason why I got plenty of it. This next style I'm going to show you, it takes a bit of paint. So it's a different texture method. I'll get some of this blue and we're going to put that blue in that brown. Now this brown has, it's a sienna, so it has more red in it. And what it's going to do is going to just turn it that bluish kind of gray color, see? Now you got a nice cool gray going on here. Just like that. Just like so. All right. Just wipe off my palette knife real quick. Yeah, it does in some family. Yeah, they are kind of pointed like that. Hold on for a second, guys. Never mind. I thought somebody was knocking on the door. It's nothing but fireworks going off outside. All right. Okay, we got this cool gray going. Okay. So this type of texturing is omnidirectional. You'll see. I'll take the same approach as I did with this fellow here. Okay. Which is I'll just get a nice overall base color for the mountain. It's going to be it will be a cooler color. All right. And I'm tapping this blade. And if you can see the texture, I don't know if you can see it there, but you should see it here. If the light hits it the right way, if I can get it going, there we go, something like that. Where you guys can see that. Okay. Okay, and you're gonna use this, and you can use, it's like a tap and a pull, but you see the type of palette knife I have. Okay. You guys probably think I'm pretty close to the canvas, but I'm not. I'm pretty ways away from the canvas here. But you see the texture. It's going to be a tap. As you tap, you give a little pull. It takes practice to do it. But once again, kind of an omnidirectional thing. And we're going to build our light and shade off of what I put down here. All right. No glycerin, no other mediums, just the paint. Okay. All right. And well, here we go. We're just going to do a little tap, and as I'm tapping, I'll give a little pull to that tap. As I'm doing this, as you can see, the texture starting to form here. It's just me tapping away. I'll get some more. Now this takes plenty of paint. All right, it's just the nature of the technique, and it builds very interesting textures. Also, you can kind of turn your knife around. Okay, you'll get accustomed to doing this. I can borrow some from here, go up to the top here. Like I say, this pattern is omnidirectional. You go in whatever direction you feel you need to. Borrow some from here. Keep tapping it around. Now the reason why I'm filling this, I'm just spreading this type of texture around here, is because I'm gonna build my lights and darks off of this, and it will be very easy because as this dry, it has texture. Then all you can do really is just wipe right across it, and it kind of does, the palette knife does the work for you. Okay, I'll come here, and it's just a tap, a little tap and pull, just like that. Now with this method, you kind of need your darks to hang around a little bit, so you don't block it all in. Okay, but you see, it's a whole different look to the mountain doing them this way. I'll come right down to the edge of the paper here for some. Come back. Keep a nice little gap of dark in there and kind of build it this way. You don't have to cover every square inch of this. Now, as you can see, it looks like pretty much the very same color that I used for the background mountains. It's not, but it will look that way. And so we're going to tint that with a little bit of blue, but you'll see a little later on. We're going to get a nice separation here. Okay, come down here. You don't have to have the knife held this way if you don't want. You can do it this way. All right, whatever way you feel comfortable. And I'm tapping, giving it a little tap and a push. I can borrow some and bring it down here. Okay. I am wiping off my brush a little bit as I do this. Tap, get that texture going. And you're just gonna kind of tap. Omnidirectional, it goes in. No matter which way you aim the palette knife, all right, you're just gonna get a different type of look. Very fun to do and very fast, as you can see. It just takes a little practice. Okay. All right. So I pretty much established this stuff. We're gonna get some separation here. Once again, remember your highlight is coming from the upper left-hand side. The shadows are on the will be the lower left. All right. Okay. Let's start off with blue. Put it right in there with that what's left of the tan stuff, which is not much, but we'll make some more. Stronger on the shadow though, on the blue side here. Okay. Pop some of that brown in there. Mix it right in. And what it's going to do is just give you a deeper blue-gray. Okay. Yes, man. There we go. Something like that. Now, when we did the mountains back here, the mountains were done dark first. This time we did the lighter or the medium color first. Okay, once again, we do the same tap motion. This time you can pick and choose where you want to put this stuff. All right. So obviously our shadows are going to be pretty much, you can play off the darkened area, and we're going to do just that. Just tap. Remember, it's omnidirectional, so we're building all of this right off of those darks there. Come here and add the same thing. And you don't have to necessarily get rid of all of the deeper color, but you're just building a shadow. Don't get discouraged doing this stuff. Don't get discouraged. We'll start the shadow right here. See, you can put it right on top of what you've left off, and you can build your shadow. Just like that. Don't worry. We're going to get that to match even closer. You'll see in a second. Let's put some of that nice shadow up in here. I'll borrow some from over here. And we'll kind of play around with, right up around in here. We'll put a nice shadow right up in here. We have to come downward. All up in here and come down. Just like that. We're gonna create another one. So I'm creating my shadows here. Right up in here. We'll create another one right here. And it goes back this way, right off the panel there. Okay. Let's take a little bit of white, or what's left of our titanium white. It's got brown in it, but that's okay. We'll put it right in here. Now, this is the easy part. We'll just take some of this. And right now, you don't have to tap. You can just roll right across it, because the texture is already there. See this? Right where you see the dark at, you just add some of that right up in there like that. Come on here. Bring some of that around this way. Okay. And I'm going, at least aiming it downward as best I can. Right here, just add a nice little highlights. I'm just grazing this stuff right on across. The paint that you put on beforehand, which is already dry, is taking off what it wants. It gives you the rest back. That's a fair exchange. Come on down with it. It appears white, but it is not. Your eyes love to play tricks on you. This is just a blue-gray. And so, that's what you see. Going on there. All right. All right, I can get it a little bit brighter if I can get it right up in here, up on the top there. Just to fill that in a little sharper, just like that. Okie dokie. We'll let that dry a little bit. I can take, remember what I said about the glycerin? Okay. Now I want this mountain here to be out front a little more. You can't really tell yet. All right, so when you encounter a situation like that, this has to gently be subdued a little. All right. I'll take a wider brush, one of these guys. Look back down at the palette here. We're gonna take some more glycerin. I put it right on the brush. Put it right here. Let's get another batch of this blue stuff. Then we'll put a little bit of red in there. Now red is very overpowering, so I'll add more blue. Now we've got that nice purple thing happening there. We'll slap some brown. We'll kind of kill it a little bit. It makes a pretty interesting shadow color. Maybe a little more brown though. I still want to keep the look of the rocks. Okay. So we got a little bit of that mix happening there. All right, that makes a pretty interesting shadow color. Now it's more like the color here. Okay, so I don't want them deep purple. All right. We'll leave the purple to Bruce Anderson. Get a little more glycerin. Okay. So let's subdue all of this, which will bring this out back more. All right. Sometimes my chat doesn't move, so I don't know if you guys are talking. Nobody talks. Nobody talks. Okay. And here we go. We're just going to glaze the whole thing. Not this. just up here. All right. Bravery test. Sometimes when you do this, you know, you might feel it's too. Remember, glycerin makes your paint transparent, so you're not really gonna block out anything. You're just gonna subdue your mountain with this one color, just like that. This is just glazing. You're just gonna glaze the whole mountain. Now, I've been doing this for a while, so I, you know, kind of know. But look at that. Now, you see that darker color? You see how it brings out things? You see that? All right. So this is just sienna, ultramarine blue, a touch of red. But look at that. You see them stick out now? All right. You do the same thing on both the lit and the shaded side. All right. Even the shaded side, just bring it out there. Like I said, you can put glycerin on top of glycerin. Well, there you go. Now look who's out front. See that? All right. Well, Keely, it's just a glaze. If you don't like it, you take some water. Water cuts through glycerin like a hot knife through butter, and you just wipe it off. You know. But as the color dries and it sets, now you have look at the extreme details you have in there. See all the tones that's going on in there. Okay, and as you can see by the brightness right here, you know, it's still, obviously, it's still pretty wet here. All right, okay. All right, so now that we've established with these mountains and they're further back, okay, all right, we can work on some slick shadow stuff with the same color if I want, or I can add more blue to it. Okay. I can use the same batch of glycerin with that brown. I'll just add more blue to it. Bring it right here. So I'm gonna have a slight blue tint with this brown. All right. Now, this is already dry here, so I can get away with it. Okay. We'll just add this bluish brown to the shadow side, just like this. We'll play around in the shadows there, just like that. Play around in the shadows, bring it up and around like that. And I just want to kind of mess around here in the shadows. We'll keep the bright side pretty bright, but we'll just play around in the shadows a little bit like that. You see how it tones all of that down a little? You see that? Okay. So you still got your separation. We add a little bit of blue to the tint color. So it brings some of this down too. It tones it down. All right. So you still got that little harmony, color harmony thing going on there. All right. Okay. Let's play some more. We'll wipe some of this, get rid of this. Get it right off there. I'm just wiping away the glycerin and the paint mix. All right, let's play with some more glycerin. Brush load of glycerin. We'll just put it right there. Let's get a touch of blue. We'll put the blue in there. Pop that blue in there like that. A lot of glycerin in that blue. Get a little bit of this sky blue in there. We'll make it maroonish. Little touch of red in that. Still a glaze. Okay, still a glaze here. All right. Okay. I'm not really feeling a red, white, and blue sky. But we'll add some umph to it here. We'll come up top here. The thing with glazing is that you can wipe it off, you can repeat it, you can blend this stuff. You can pick and choose what gets glazed and what does not get glazed. It's entirely up to you. Okay. Entirely up to you. Don't worry about streak marks, you can just wipe them away. It blends off. And when it dries, glycerin expands when it dries, so don't worry about that either. If I feel it's not glazed up enough, then I can always kind of change it up a little bit. Okay, but I can, as you can see, I can darken whatever I want to darken. All right. You know, if I don't think the red is, if I think the red's a little too much, then I'll just purple it up a little bit there. Just get a lot of that red out of there. Just like that. Just kind of tone it down a little bit. Up to you. Up to you. How you want this done. It's really your world. Okay. I think I added us a pinch of brown in that. Cause I just want to tone it down a tad. Yeah, that might work a little bit better. That brown in there. See how you can smooth that out? Don't worry about the streaks. The streaks will disappear. Worry not about the streaks. Or you just take a softer brush and blend it, and you can blend the streaks out of there. So don't worry about the streaks. The reason why I'm coming up on the painting is because it's very reflective, so I have to look at what I'm doing here. Just like that. But you're not getting rid of the bright, no, see, the brightness still comes through. It's just you're toning down some of that color. Okay, that's all. You know, you're just kind of bringing that color down a little bit. Yeah, I can bring some of that color into the clouds too. Very slick way of shading things. See that? See how it brings that darkness out a little bit? Brings out some of that detail. La 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 la. I think I'm good. I think I'm all right there. So some of the clouds get subdued in the back. Some of these guys come up in front, you know. So it's really up to you how you want to do it. All right. Glazing is fun. I've done tutorials where I glazed a whole large cabin using nothing but glazes and India ink, and once you know what you can and can't do with vegetable glycerin, it's pretty fun, pretty cool thing. All right, let's peel off the tape after I sign my John Hancock on this somewhere. It appears like I don't have enough white paint. I think I used it all. Therefore, I guess I'll use a little bit of red. I guess I'll use red today. Very rarely I sign my name in red. Sorry, I do it today. And as usual, I will post this on my wall. Those of you who might have Instagram, it'll be posted on the Instagram also. I guess our last supermoon is tonight. I guess it's some big strawberry looking thing. You can barely see that, but it's all right. It's there. That red blotch is a signature. Okay, we can take, I'm gonna show you what this looks like in actual size. I can take the rest of this goop and throw it out. I don't need it, it's done. There we go. All right, let's get rid of the lower camera. Yeah, I gotta get up again. I think that should do it. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Pop the focus on. All right. I find myself getting up more and more. Man, I need the exercise. All right, let's take the tape off. Once again, this is 11 by 15 inch watercolor paper. It's on cardboard. Actually, it's on the cardboard backing that the watercolor paper came in. I used it all. I waste nothing if I can help it. All right. So there's a batch of mountains. Let's see what it looks like with the, well, we'll do with the black frame first. Now this frame is actually 11 by 15 inch frame. I had to order it. That's what it looked like, black frame. It seals it in pretty good. Okay. See what the brown frame looks like. Now the brown frame is 11 by 14, so obviously the measure. Hold on for a second. Yeah, I know you fell. I don't know why you fell like that, but you fell. Oh, that's beautiful. Even better. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. I could tell you what just happened, but you know. Anyway, let's leave the brown frame. It's not too much of a mess. It's all right. But that's what I get. All right. Anyway, that's why you see the gap on the top and the bottom. But anyway, you'll get the gist of it with the brown frame. Okay. Yeah. Of course, you know, I should, but just buy a brown frame 11 by 15. That would just make life a little easier. I should just buy an 11 by 15 brown frame. I don't even know why they made this such a, they don't have 11 by 14 watercolor size. And if they did, it's too small. Essentially, this is really too small, but I just use brushes conducive to size of the paper. But I find, because I did my series on, I did it, a lot of them on larger paper, or I did subjects that really kind of took up the page. I find it a little more comfortable probably painting on larger pieces, and I might start doing that because I did run out of watercolor paper, so I might have to take a trip to the art store, see if they got larger watercolor paper pads. If they do, awesome. If not, then I'm gonna just go to canvas or something. Yeah. Oh no, what had happened is that I'm a geek, and so I have a 2-foot long Godzilla and Mechagodzilla on top of my art bin. They're fighting, but my fan is an oscillating fan, so it moves like this. Okay. The poor guy is on his last leg, only one side of the fan works. I have not been able to find another one like this, because not only is it an intake fan, it's also an exhaust, so it goes in reverse. One side, I've had it over 12 years, so it's finally given up the ghost, so I can't get mad. But my windows here, I'm surrounded by windows, and they're vertical, and they don't lift up, they go outward, so there's no way for me to place it, but it does sit. But because of the oscillation and it vibrates, it will tend to tumble if I place something to keep it level, and that's what happened. And then I did not clean my palette, one of my coffee tin palettes, and I have loose paint in there, but I also have rubbing alcohol sprayed in there to keep the paint loose, so all I got to do is run it under water. Well, all of that tipped over, including my mannequins there. And so I'm looking at the floor, I'm like, well, it'll evaporate by the time I get to it. And the paint's still on the lid, so the lid fell flat side down, so the paint is still in there. So it's not, it just sounded a lot worse than what it was. I was just irritated that it just fell. For an hour and a half or so, it was perfectly fine. Actually, it was fine for the last 3 hours. It just decides to fall during the live. So, you know. But once again, what I'll do after I turn all this off is I'll take a photo of it. I can take this in any other size. I can go behind my easel. I got an old, well, you can probably see it. Well, you see this thing right down here. You see my finger hit it. That's holding up the tablet. You see the corner of the tablet here. Well, I got another one on the other side in the back, but it's turned, and it's pretty steady, pretty sturdy material. And I got it curved, so I can actually set canvases on it and then just snap the picture. So. Oh no, this fan's on its last legs. I can pretty much be safe to say that this will be the fan's last summer. The next place for this is the garbage bin when fall comes. I won't have it anymore. It's done. So, but I've had it a number of years. It did me well. I'm used to the 2 oscillating fans, only one's doing it, so it's time to go. Fun tack, no, it's all right. No, so no. When I know that something's kind of outlived its usefulness, I don't try to hold on to it much. When it's done, it's done. I mean, it's given me about 12 years of great service, and this year it decided to go downhill. So I'm not mad. It's it's all good. I just had to buy another one. So I'll probably end up buying another one before the summer's out anyway. But guys, I'd like to thank you. I think that's really about it, unless anybody has any questions. Well, I don't have the AC is just over there in the living room. I don't have it on. It's not really the warmest night out, but it was warm in here. Yeah, I'm gonna try my best to look for another fan like this, but I might have to look online for it. Because like I said, this is not only an intake, it's also an exhaust fan. I just switch it and goes in reverse, so all right, nobody has any questions. About 9:45 over here on the East Coast. So, guess I'll get this thing prepared here. Yes, the title will be changed. My logo will be off of it. I'll take a pretty decent picture of this and then put the thumbnail up on it and everything. That's all right, Keely. Just pause it. I've got a whole section on, well, I know they're on there somewhere on YouTube, mountains. I have tons and tons of mountains. But if you see how I've done these in the beginning, the very beginning and everything, how I did them for them to end up looking like this, it just takes practice, really. And these are 2 different mountains with 2 different techniques, as you can see by the texture of both of them. Okay, if I did this technique here, they both would look alike. All right, if I flipped it and just did the brush technique here and then did this technique back here, it would yet give it another different look. Okay, so, but all right. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I shall see you when I see you. I'm trying to get this thing centered here. And peace.